Hi, welcome back. It's Sarah here from So Sarah Style. I hope you're all well. I have to start by apologising for all the bits of dust that seem to be floating around my sewing room. Yes, I haven't dusted for a while. My excuse is that it's all the fibres from the fabrics, obviously, but the sun is streaming in and all I can see is these little magical bits of dust floating around. So please excuse me for those. Anyway, I digress. I thought I would come on today just to talk a little bit about pattern testing because I've just done a pattern test for the Notches pattern company, and so I thought, well, if I'll just do a little bit of a pattern review and explain a bit about the pattern testing process for those who haven't done it or might be interested in doing so. So first of all, I'll just let you know this is I'm going to be looking down slightly because I have got quite a few things to remember. This is the dealer blouse and dress. As I say, it's by Notches Patterns, which is a Belgian pattern company, and I just went onto their website just to find out a little bit about them, and I have to say, go and have a read of their about page because it's really interesting. Both designers have got amazing pedigree in fashion, architecture. One of them I think was she was the editor-in-chief for La Maison Victor, which is the amazing Belgian pattern magazine, and they were both designers for that. So I think one of them actually founded it, and then they got together in 2023 and launched this pattern, Notches Pattern Company. They've got quite a few amazing patterns. I think really they're very interested in, as I say, one of them was an architect, in clothes that are a little bit unique. There's something different about them, and they're not interested in fast fashion. They basically have said on their website the fact that the home sewist is actually really good because the idea is that you take a bit more care about what you make, you choose carefully, you make it fit you, and hopefully by the time you've put all that effort in, you're more likely to make it last a long time. So it's but also it's a way to live more mindfully, slow down, be creative, and I think I actually really do agree with all of that. That's definitely why I enjoy making so much. This is my escape, just to come up, although I say escape, I'm thinking about sewing pretty much all the time, but it's planning and doing and getting ideas of what I want to make, and then coming up into my sewing room and making it is my absolute, it's just the thing that keeps me sane, basically. So that's a little bit about them, and they put out a call for pattern testers about 3 weeks ago, and said it was on Instagram, so it just popped up. I actually follow them on Instagram because I really like another of their dresses which I've been sort of stalking, so I definitely want to make one of those. It's called the Judy dress, but I'll show you that in a minute. And anyway, the call basically said, we've got a pattern test. It's a really quick turnaround. It's only a week. In fact, often they're a pretty quick turnaround, because I think once they've got the pattern ready for testing, they just want to get people to test it, and then they want to get it to market as soon as possible, understandably. So we were given a week to do it, and it said if you've got the time to do it, then just apply here. And so I did, and then 2 or 3 days later I heard back that I was successful, which I was so pleased about, because I'd seen sneak views of, like, little sneak peeks that they were putting of this dress online. Absolutely loved the sleeves and the pleats and everything, so I was really, really keen to have a go. So the idea with the testing is that they chose 50 people, and they chose them from all around the world, because this dress, I will explain in a minute, but it's got a lot of different views for all different seasons. So obviously it makes sense to have somebody in a hot country and a cold country, and so that they can get all versions of the dress tested at the same time. So with that in mind, we only had a week. And I knew then that I would need to use something from my stash, because I didn't have time to order anything. So I've made it up in this. It's a needle cord which I've had in my stash for a long time, and I knew that I had enough of it. And I also wanted to make something that was going to do justice to these amazing sleeves. Look at that, for a bit of architecture. So I'll talk a little bit about the pattern now. It's got 27 different versions, so talk about value for money. I've obviously done the one with the round neck. You can also choose a V-neck and a square neck. You can do the full-on sleeves, which I've done. You can do short sleeves as well, and you can do sleeveless. You can then do a long dress, a short dress, or a top. So I think that combination, hopefully, I can't do the maths, but should take you to 27 different versions. So I started off, I wanted to do the long dress with the neckline and the big sleeves. I just wanted to go all out and do absolutely everything. And this happens with me quite often. I think, right, you know, I'm just going to go all bells and whistles. And I had this amazing vision of me wearing the long dress with a pair of chunky boots and my tights and looking fabulous. Well, I made it all up. I had 3 meters of this fabric and I made it all up. I will put a picture in. And although I really like it, it looked amazing on the mannequin. And I think maybe on somebody else it would have worked. But on me, it just felt like too much fabric. I think it's because it's quite a stiff fabric and it didn't drape very well, the sort of the bottom half. I think I still really like it. I think it looked funky, but on me it was more frumpy, to be honest, than funky. So I then decided, right, this will be fabulous as a top with jeans, and which it is. Chopped it off, and I'm so much happier with it now with jeans. So as I say, I made the round neck version, and on the actual pattern it's a button and loop at the back. I have made a tie. I've just basically used 2 ties because I quite like a ribbon back as well. So I sort of changed that ever so slightly. The other change that I made to the pattern was the underneath bits obviously are gathered, and I didn't because it's again a thick fabric, I didn't want too many gathers under the bust. So the actual pattern pieces, the front and the back pattern piece, I cut 1 inch off the fold line. So basically once that's on the fabric fold, it's 1 inch less, but that equates to 2 inches once you open it up. So there's 2 inches less in the gathers, which I'm very, very pleased about, because I still think it's got a fabulous amount of gather without giving too much bulk. What I really like is this this pleated detail here and the shape of it round here. I didn't know how it would work and where it would land on my bust or whatever, but I think it's absolutely perfect. I'm really happy with where it is. So it's very, very like it's very not fitted, but it's very smooth and it's nice, you know, nice with the arms and everything. And then all the kind of excitement starts to happen a little bit further down. So it's got 2 pleats here, 3 pleats there, and then, oh dear, hang on, cut that bit of cotton off, cut that bit of thread off, and then yeah, the 3 pleats, and then this fabulous shaping here with like a lantern, and then just a wrist piece. So there's no buttons or anything on there. In fact, there's no closures apart from the bit at the neck, really, which is, as I say, a button and loop. And then obviously you've got gathers under the bust and gathers around the back. I just love the shape of it. It's a little bit different, and I think for me, because it's so full on, it's better with jeans, because the jeans tone it down. I just felt a little bit too much with the whole dress. There are some amazing versions that Tess's have made, and I think especially the ones that are made of the lighter fabrics, of the cottons and maybe the viscoses, work beautifully as a dress. Some of the versions that the people have made who live in the warmer climates, with the short sleeves and the sleeveless, they look lovely too. So you've still got this pattern here, this shaping across here, and the gathers. But as I say, it works sleeveless and with the short sleeves. So in terms of making it, the one thing I will say, and this was the review that I gave back to the pattern makers, was that when you're making the sleeve, make sure it tells you to iron the folds, and then you make the sleeve up. It's an amazing pattern piece. But I did take notice of it, but I didn't iron it well enough. So when then you have to make it into the sleeve, you have to sew it together, and then you have to reuse the folds that you had in order to make the pleats. So my fold lines weren't quite accurate enough. Well, they were sort of disappearing, so there was an element of guesswork, shall we say. So my pleats aren't as even as they should be, and I think they're also probably not quite as deep. So I've gone my own way a little bit. So the sleeves are slightly different to how they should be, but still I really like it. But that was just a little tip there on making sure that you actually, well, in fact they've put it in the new version of the pattern, just to make sure that you are really accurate with those pleats. And if you can't iron them, then maybe to mark them with a pencil or whatever, because it is really important that you get some accuracy there. So in terms of the actual pattern testing experience, it's a really lovely thing to do, because you feel like you're part of a community of sewists who have never, making something absolutely new. So it was a Facebook group that's like a private Facebook group, and we were all in there and we were asking questions, and then we were posting our sort of progress and things, and really learning from each other as well. So I think it's obviously very useful for the designers to have our feedback, because they know what they mean, but we don't always know what they mean. So there was a few backwards and forwards, and it was really helpful for me to see that other people had asked the questions that I was kind of thinking, oh yeah, well, I wasn't quite sure how to do that bit. So we're all learning from each other. And then you post your makes, and then there's a feedback form to fill out, sort of a questionnaire on how you felt about it, any changes you wanted to make, etc. And then literally, I think the girls then had a couple of days to turn it round, to collate all our feedback, and then to launch. So it launched yesterday, I think, which was Thursday the 30th of November. And it's out there. So it just feels really nice to be part of something like that, and to help sort of help get a pattern out to market, as it were, and also to have direct contact with the designers is really lovely as well. That was a similar experience I had with this one. This is the Swim Style Patterns Rituals shirt dress, and this was a pattern test that I did a while back, and this was one of the first shirt dresses I ever made, actually, and it was really useful because I think it's a separate button placket, and there are a few bits on it that I wasn't sure about, so I could go straight to Sharon, the designer, just email her, and she kind of talked me through it all, really, which was so useful. I absolutely love this dress. I wear it all the time, and I have the fabric to make another one. I really do need to make another one. It's just a really easy dress, and I absolutely love the drawstring detail. It's lost slightly in this extremely busy camo fabric, sorry, but I just love the way that you can just draw it in with the tie here as well. That was another really lovely pattern testing experience. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the pattern. The fabric advice is light to medium weight fabrics that can gather well. So obviously it's important that you can get all this gathering. It can't be too heavy. Easy to sew fabrics such as poplin, cotton, linen or thin woolen fabrics. Supple fabrics like viscose are also ideal for a more draped effect, especially for the short sleeve and sleeveless version. So if you want to make one for summer, the long lantern sleeves will flow a little more with a supple fabric, so they're not going to be as chunky and obvious as they are here. So the other couple of fabrics that I did have in my stash and that I pulled out to have a go with were this one, which is actually an old duvet cover. So I just thought, well, that would be actually quite useful to practice on, just to make a toile. But then I found this and thought, no, I'm going to go for it. I've got the instructions. I'm just going to have a go. We've only got a week. I didn't really have time to toile. The other one, which I think will be lovely, and I could make one for the summer, is this gorgeous batik fabric that I've got. So it is a bit more of a summer fabric. But what I like about this is that this batik fabric, although it's cotton, it will hold the shape really well, because it's relatively stiff. Even though this has been washed, it's still a fairly stiff cotton, so I think that would look really good in it as well. So that was two other options, and I definitely will be making another one. I think probably the short sleeve one for the summer. And also a dress, so that then I've obviously got a top version and a dress version. So I think that is pretty much it for now. Oh, the other thing I meant to say was, size wise, have a look on the website for all those details, but it does go from a UK 6, which is a bust of 31.5 and hips 34.5, to a 28, which is bust of 52.75 and hips of 56. So that's the size range. But I mean, obviously you can just go and have a look on their website, and then also have a look at their other fantastic garments they've got. As I said before, I have been looking at their Judy dress pattern, which I think is really lovely. Again, it's something a little bit different. It's got the ties which wrap around the waist. I really like the shape of the dress, and that's got lots of different sleeve options as well. And again, no closures. I think it's got an elastic waist, and then you wrap the ties around the waist. It's sort of a V-neck. That's definitely worth checking out as well. So I've had such a lovely experience with this that I think I definitely will be making a Judy dress as well. So anyway, I have probably talked enough now, and I will I'll head off, but I just wanted to have a little, just sort of fill you in a little bit about the whole pattern testing experience, and talk to you a little bit more about this lovely pattern. So that's it from me today, and I hope to catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.